Welcome to Direct Talk. Today's guest is the director of a Vietnamese non-profit organization for people with disabilities. As a disabled person herself, she fought her way to lead and inspire people at home and abroad. As one of the fastest growing economies in Southeast Asia, Vietnam's social services have not progressed as quickly. Ian's organization aims to speed up that progress and encourage people with disabilities to join her path to equality.
A person with disabilities is just a human being. And a human being needs all time the service so that they can develop to their fullest and they can become the contributor to society, not just the recipients of charity. I'm a person with disabilities and I face all the discrimination on my way from my childhood to university graduation and finding jobs. So I made the decision to change for myself and for other people with disabilities. I told myself that I'm a person with capacity, with knowledge. So if I'm not the person to make the change, who will do?
After a lifetime of experiencing the lack of access for people with disability in places like shops, tourist attractions, and public transportation, Yen's organization, DRD, started a three-wheeled motorbike taxi project for people like her. The three-wheeled motorbike is designed for people with disability. It's easy to get onto and has space for crutches and a wheelchair.
From our observation working with people with disabilities, the majority of people with disabilities face the challenge of finding the accessible transportation for their travel. And you know that taxi is too expensive and the bus is not accessible. So the motorbikes is the easiest way to go directly to in front of their house to pick them and carry them to the place they want to go to. One self-employer told me that before meeting DRD, she never dared to go out of her house. And when she joined our activities, she dared to buy the three-wheel motorbikes, learn how to use it, and then she go out more by herself. She told me once, she said that I made the decision to go to Dalat, a beautiful city far from Ho Chi Minh City, for her vacation by herself. It's a big change for her.
Hoang Vo is founder of a non-profit organization focusing on the quality of lives of people with disabilities in Vietnam. Her Disability Research and Capacity Development Center, or DRD, was established in 2005. The organization works to encourage people with disabilities to aspire to be part of society. She inspires them to be brave and dignified.
We organize events and music performance to show the talents of people with disabilities, talk shows, workshops, and also we provide the training for responsible people so that they have the deeper understanding of the rights of people with disabilities. Many young people told me that after meeting you and seeing the activities by DRD or joining the activities by DRD, I want to change. I want to go to school. Before that, they kind of hopeless, voiceless. They did not dare to say anything. After the training or joining the activities by DRD, they are there to raise a voice.
In 2018, Yen received the prestigious Ramon Magsaysay Award for her work for people with disabilities in the category A Hero of Hope. Over the past 15 years, DRD has been providing skills training along with capacity building activities, scholarships, and job placements. They have also donated assistive devices and computers and helped more than 15,000 people with disabilities.
They are marginalized because of the barriers they face every day. The first one is the inaccessible environment. From our perspective, it's the biggest challenge. The second one is the negative attitudes of the public members. Many people still consider people with disabilities as incapable, helpless. They cannot learn, they cannot work, or they cannot do anything.
Yen was born in Dong Nai province, 60 kilometers from Ho Chi Minh City. At 2.5 years of age, she was diagnosed with polio, a contagious viral illness that attacks the central nervous system, causing her to lose the ability to walk. Despite being in a wheelchair during her childhood, Yen did not give up on education because her parents believed that education can change your life, whoever you are and wherever you come from. She was the only person with disability in her village to graduate from university. She obtained 2 BA degrees from Vietnam, an MA from the University of Kansas, and a PhD from La Trobe University in Australia. She says her family played the biggest part in her success.
My mom told me that I was like a noodle, I could not move any legs or hands or anything. And my mom was worried that I could be in that condition for all of my life. And when I was in hospital, just one day, I got up and I point my fingers to the corner of the hospital room with a bunch of colorful balloons there. And then I got up and tried to walk again. It was very hard because you see that I'm a kind of an active child, very active child. But my mom still tried to give me some housework to do around the house so that I felt no difference to my sister. So I think that it's a very good way to raise me, or it's a good way for any parents to raise a child with disability.
After Yen received her economics degree from Ho Chi Minh University, she had her first interview at an accounting firm. The company's director accepted her on the spot, not realizing she was a person with disability. Later on, when her disability was noticed, the job was no longer hers.
I felt so unhappy, and it took me for nearly 2 months in that miserable conditions. But I didn't dare to tell my mom and my sister because I didn't want to worry them, because I couldn't find a job for my own living.
Yen became a private English tutor to make money and realized from her interview experience that people with disabilities face many barriers in their everyday lives, including an inaccessible environment and negative attitudes from the public. The World Health Organization's study estimates that around 15% of the Vietnamese population has some kind of disability. The majority of them stuck in poverty, lacking opportunities in education and employment.
They depend on the support of their family members or others for their living. So when you think of them as in that way, you do not want to provide any opportunity for them to develop. It's not easy because if a person has faced discrimination all their life, so they feel they're not confident, and they feel that they in the lower position than the others. So kind of they close the door.
With her own experiences fresh in mind, Yen and 3 disabled colleagues opened DRD. They very quickly became one of the biggest advocates for new inclusive disability groups in Vietnam.
Our mission is to promote the more inclusive society for people with disabilities. So we hope that through our work, people with disabilities in Vietnam will have more opportunity to participate in society. With that mission, DRD has 2 main goals. to empower people with disabilities and to transform society, to provide them with opportunity to develop themselves or develop the organization of people with disabilities so that they more confident, they have more knowledge of their rights and the policy and more confident to raise a voice.
In Ho Chi Minh City, Yen's organization created a mobile phone application called DMAP. It's a platform for anyone to report how accessible facilities are for people with disabilities around the city. The app now marks more than 15,000 locations, and people with or without disability can instantly see how accessible places are, such as restaurants, shopping malls, or public transport. She believes the new technology is key to progress for all people with disabilities and also to connect people in the society.
I think that high technology is very important and very helpful to people with disabilities if the designers think of people with disabilities when they develop their program. They can provide language interpretation for people with hearing impairment because it fills the gap of the lack of understanding or language between the teachers with hearing and the student with hearing impairment. And also the AI can also help us to develop our DMAP to higher level, and that can help reduce the time to do the audit to any public places and give the information to people in need.
Because of DRD's success with DMAP, many other organizations in other cities have been inspired to copy them. Yen believes that working together will benefit everyone. So she organizes regular seminars and workshops with other organizations to share experiences. Yen's ultimate goal is to make everyone in society feel included. She says all people with disabilities everywhere are facing the same kind of obstacles that prevent them from reaching out.
We had the project to help people with disabilities in all the provinces to develop their organization. So we find the potential leaders, provide the training for them, and help them to develop their clubs or organization. And then we need some networking activities for these organizations to join, and they can celebrate their success, or they share their problems, find a solution, or strengthen their spirits. So we did it, and it was very successful. We also people with disabilities, but we try our best and overcome the barriers, and we change our life. So they see that, they can do something similar. So they can more open to share their story. And also when people with disabilities of all times have opportunity to develop to their fullest and become the contributor to society, the society is truly more beautiful because of their diversity and because of the beauties they bring to society. Remove all the barriers, create more opportunities, and help more understanding of the problem faced by people with disabilities and their families. Because if your hearts are not open, you do not listen to the others, and you do not have the good understanding of the problems the other people face. Life is beautiful when hearts are open. Because people with disabilities face so many problems. So most of the time they close their life. They do not open their life. They do not want to share that. They're not confident. We can make the world a better place for people with disability when we open our hearts and we have more empathy for the difficulty faced by people with disabilities and their families.